The list of tribes is a little strange. If you'll recall, Jacob, or Israel, had 12 sons, but one of them, Joseph, received a double portion of the inheritance. Joseph's tribe was therefore split into two and named after his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. That made, for all intents and purposes, 13 tribes. But then the tribe of Levi, Moses' tribe, was set apart as being Yahweh's. That is, God claimed all the firstborn of Israel, man and beast alike, but he chose to substitute the tribe of Levi for the firstborn of all the tribes. Numbers 3:12 through 13. So what do we see in John's list of 12? There's no Ephraim, but there is a tribe of Joseph. So with Manasseh in the list, their double portion remains. Levi is in the list. The tribe that's missing is Dan. Are the Danites extinct by the time the prophecies of Revelation get fulfilled? No, we will learn from the millennial geography lessons of Ezekiel 48 that Dan is still around. All of the tribes are. So what heinous crime did the Danites commit that got them aced out of the list? Bad things can be traced back to virtually every tribe, even Judah, Joshua's tribe. But if we look for what sets Dan apart from the other tribes, we soon discover a rebellious streak a mile wide. Perhaps the most famous Danite of all was Samson, who, like the 144,000, was gifted and set apart for God's purposes. But Samson wasn't known for his sensitivity to the leading of Yahweh. He was known for his headstrong and self-centered misuse of God's gifts, an insubordinate nature that killed him in the end. Dan was the one tribe who, after being allotted their territory in Canaan along the coast just north of Judah, decided after a time that the competition was too tough for them. So they sent spies to the far north, found a poorly defended city, Laish, invaded it, and renamed it Dan. At the same time, they showed a remarkable lack of loyalty to Yahweh, embracing the idolatry of the area as soon as they arrived, and holding on to it for centuries until they were swept away by the Assyrians. The whole sordid affair is recorded in Judges 18. The Danites proved that they couldn't be trusted with the oracles of Yahweh. Perhaps that's why he chose not to let them participate at the end, when refusal to compromise with the world would become the greatest of virtues. My, what a long memory you have. We see the 144,000 again a bit later in John's narrative, this time at their moment of triumph.
Then I looked, and behold, a Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. Revelation 14:1.
Here we're given more insight about their sealing. In this scene, Yahshua has returned in glory to the earth, and he's seen standing on Mount Zion in Jerusalem. With him are the 144,000. Every last one of them made it through to the end of the tribulation alive, and they're all in town. That's what it means to be sealed, to have Yahweh's name written on one's forehead. It means you're his possession. You're under his protection. Is this writing visible? I have no idea. Many expositors insist that it is. I suspect that it's not. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel 3, you don't need a tattoo on your face for God to protect you.
And I heard a voice from heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. They sang as it were a new song before the throne, before the 4 living creatures, and the elders, and no one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed among men, being firstfruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they were without fault before the throne of God. Revelation 14:2-5.
This is admittedly a tough one to figure out. John was looking at a scene on the earth. Has it shifted to heaven? Not exactly. I think what we're seeing here is a rare interplay between heaven and earth. Standing there on Mount Zion with Yahshua, the 144,000 hear the audible voice of God from heaven. This is followed by the sound of the heavenly praise band singing a song that only they can comprehend. In these verses, we're given a bit more information about them. Because they are described as virgins not defiled with women, we can deduce that all 144,000 are men, and that most of them are young, called to the service in their teens. Give that a speculation factor of 2. Now, this is admittedly an extrapolation. The logic is that, 1, because they're on the earth, they were unsaved, for whatever reason, at the time of the rapture. 2, the chances of men being both uninterested in the things of God and remaining virgins past the age of 20 or 25 in the world we live are slim indeed. 3, the rapture would be more of an epiphany for them if they were young and impressionable. It's an event likely to have a big impact on their spiritual outlook. 4, if there is a gap of a few years between the rapture and the beginning of the tribulation, Jewish lads past their bar mitzvah, but under about 17 years old at the time of the rapture, would make ideal candidates. Interestingly, we aren't told much in Revelation about what these folks will do. There has been speculation about 144,000 Jewish Billy Grahams evangelizing the earth. I wish that were true, but I don't think it is, at least not in any organizational sense. These guys won't be filling stadiums and televising the gospel freely to millions of homes. To get closer to the truth, try to imagine what someone with the anointing of a Jonathan Edwards or a D.L. Moody would do as an individual if he found himself in Iran or Saudi Arabia. He would share the love of Christ one-on-one, hiding out from the authorities when he had to, preaching boldly on the street corners when he could, and relying on God's grace and the shelter and supply of his people to keep him alive until tomorrow. That's how it will start, but the 144,000 will discover through trial and error, their adversary's error, that they are indeed under Yahweh's protection. They can't be touched. This knowledge will give them the boldness to speak out in situations that would and will get ordinary men killed. Some will receive their words with joy. Others will reject the message. It bears mention that even though these people have Yahweh's hedge of protection around them, that's not necessarily true of the people who are in a position to shelter them. They will have to make a choice to do what they know is right, despite the risks, or play it safe. Yahshua sent his 12 disciples out on just such a mission, giving them very clear instructions as to what to do and say. But before he was done, it was abundantly clear that his words were not just for the present group. They would apply to some extent throughout the church age and then to the 144,000, especially to the 144,000.
These 12 Yeshua sent out and commanded them, saying, Do not go into the way of the Gentiles, and do not enter a city of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver nor copper in your money belts, nor bag for your journey, nor 2 tunics, nor sandals, nor staffs, for a worker is worthy of his food. Now, whatever city or town you enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and stay there till you go out. And when you go into a household, greet it. If the household is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever will not receive you or hear your words, when you depart from that house or city, shake the dust from your feet. Assuredly, I say to you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Matthew 10:5-15.
Will the 144,000 be sent only to the lost sheep of Israel? Considering the fact that Yahweh is once again dealing with them officially within this 7-year period, see Daniel 9, and noting that they will all be in Jerusalem to meet him, it seems possible, even likely, that they are. If this is the case, it would work out to roughly one witness for every 100 Jews alive on the earth at the start of the tribulation. Don't forget, the angels have the Gentiles covered. On the other hand, their testimony will not be lost on the Gentiles. Even if the 144,000 are sent only to the Jews, remember that, at least for now, half of the world's Jews live outside of Israel, among Gentiles. Here's what Joshua said next.
Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of the wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils and scourge you in their synagogues. You will be brought before the governors and kings for my sake, as a testimony to them and to the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. Now brother will deliver up brother to death, and a father his child, and children will rise up against parents, and cause them to be put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in this city, flee to another. For assuredly I say to you, you will not have gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Matthew 10:16-23.
Clearly these are dangerous times. Gestapo tactics will be the order of the day. These witnesses of Yahweh's can't be killed, it's true, but harboring one of them, even giving him a cup of cold water, can get you in big trouble with the authorities. And it won't require anything as sophisticated as NSA electronic surveillance to catch you. All it will take is your kids, your parents, your best friend. Many will be sent downtown to answer a few routine questions, and many won't come back. Harboring a religious terrorist is a federal crime, you know.
A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for a disciple that he be like his teacher, and a servant be like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more will they call those of his household? Therefore do not fear them, for there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Whatever I tell you in dark, speak in the light. What you hear in the ear, preach on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. But rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin? And not one of them falls to the ground, apart from your Father's will. But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. Do not fear, therefore. You are of more value than many sparrows. Matthew 10:24-31.